By using core Java, we can develop only standalone projects. By using core Java, we can develop only standalone projects. Standalone projects means the projects which are for one user or the multiple users which are under one network. By using pure core Java, we can develop only standalone projects. Standalone projects means the projects which are for one user or multiple users which are under one network. By using core Java, we cannot develop any project for the internet user. For the worldwide internet based applications cannot be developed by using pure core Java. If you want to develop internet based worldwide accessing application, then it should be a web application, it should not be standalone application. Web application can be accessed from anywhere if you have an internet connection. To develop the web application, you require client-side technologies and server-side technologies. Client-side, that is UI, user interface technologies, and server-side. So whatever I already told, HTML, CSS, even JavaScript, these type of technologies are client-side UI, user interface technologies. Server-side technologies are servlets and JSPs. Servlets and JSPs. To develop any web application, internet-based worldwide web application, you require both client-side technologies and server-side technologies. This package is containing only servlets and JSP, not the HTML, JavaScript, even CSS. There is a separate package, you can check it out, UI design and development. There HTML, JavaScript, CSS, even jQuery and AngularJS also will be covered. But here I will be using HTML whichever is required. Only for developing UI screen, I will be using main HTML form development, form related information, only form tags. I will not be covering the detailed picture of HTML, that is a separate. Here we will be focusing mainly on server-side technologies, servlets and JSP. If you know servlets and JSP, then only you can understand struts, you can understand Spring MVC, you can understand JSF. By using servlets and JSP, we can develop a web application for the internet users, like a dynamic web application for the internet users. On top of servlets and JSP only, struts is developed. On top of servlets and JSP only, Spring MVC also developed. On top of servlets and JSP, JSF. If you don't know servlets and JSP, you cannot understand anything in the struts, you cannot understand anything in the Spring MVC, you cannot understand anything JSF. JSF. Some people are saying like I cannot understand anything. Are you able to hear me? Maybe you can check it out. Your audio. Your audio should be unmuted if you are using GoToMeeting. So please observe, we are just going through why do we require servlets. Without servlets, you cannot develop server-side web application by using Sun Microsystem technologies. Servlets is a base to develop any server-side web applications by using Sun Microsystem technologies. Servlets is a base for server-side web application development. If you know servlets very well, then you can understand JSP very easily. JSP, it's built on top of servlets. After knowing servlets only, you can understand JSP. Once you know servlets and JSP, you can understand struts. Struts is built on top of servlets and JSP. Spring MVC also, Spring Web MVC also built on top of servlets and JSP. Even JSF also. So today, completely, we will take care of setup environment, setting up, development environment. What are the things you should require? What are the things? What are the things you should require to develop any servlets? In order to develop a web applications by using servlet technologies, whatever things required, like a setting up, that we will go through. In case of core Java programs or projects, in case of core Java programs or projects, we are using Java command to execute. We are using Java command to run core Java programs or even projects also. Java command. In case of web applications, we cannot use Java command. Java command, it is a command prompt based utility. From the command prompt only, we can able to run Java command. Servlets are for browser based UI, not the command prompt. Servlets are browser based UI. Servlets will be getting a request from browser. Servlets are getting a request from the browser, not through Java command. In order to develop a servlet, first and foremost one, you should require web application or web project. Please observe, you can develop core Java program anyway without following any mandatory steps. I can develop a.java in the C drive. I can develop hello.java in the D drive. I can develop manager.java in the F drive. Independent one Java file we can able to develop in case of core Java. If it is a core Java, you can develop any Java file anywhere without considering any other files. Whereas in case of servlet, it should be a part of web application. It should be developed inside a web application. It should be developed inside a web project. First and foremost requirement in case of Servlet development is web application, web project. Servlet cannot be developed alone independently, whereas core Java program can be developed alone independently. In case of Servlet, you cannot develop hello servlet.java separately. You should require a web project. Inside a web project only, we can develop a servlet. This web project we cannot run by using Java command. Web project, web application we cannot run by using Java command. This web project or web application required a server. Inside a server only we can run web applications. Web applications or web projects should require a server. Inside a server, you have to develop web application. First and foremost one is server. Inside that server, web application. Inside that web application, servlet development. We cannot develop a servlet alone. You have to develop a servlet inside a web application. That web application should be developed and deployed inside a server. First and foremost requirement is a server. There are two types of servers available in the industry. One is called as a web server. Second one is called as an application server. One is called as a web server. Second one is called as an application server. Web server, it is containing every runtime environment which is required to run the web application. In order to run the web application, whatever runtime environment is required, that will be available inside a web server. Web server containing only web application specific runtime environment. Whereas if you consider application server, that is not only containing web application runtime environment, it is containing lot more additional features. Those additional features you may not be able to understand now. It is like a application server. It contains everything which is required for any kind of application, for any kind of project. Even it is a enterprise based project, whatever it may be the project, whatever runtime environment, whatever additional features required, all are available inside a application server. We will be knowing application server also after finishing the servlets and JSP. Last day I will be taking application server also. Web applications, we can develop or run inside a web server or even inside an application server. But application server is not a mandatory for the web applications. Even web server also we can able to use for developing or running web applications. Initially, I'll use the web server only. For complete development of this course, we will be using web server. Finally, one day, I will be showing you even application server also. How to use application server to run the web application and what are the additional features you are getting in the web application, in the application server, which are not available in the web server. Those things I'll show you later. Under web servers, there are several servers available in the industry. Under web servers, there are several servers available in the industry. Among all, widely using server is a Tomcat. Widely using server is a Tomcat server. I will be using Tomcat server only for throughout this course. Once complete course got over, whatever concepts we supposed to go through in the servlets and JSP, if all the concepts got over, then I will be taking one day class how to use application server for developing web applications. In case of Tomcat server, the very important points with respect to Tomcat server is Tomcat server, it's absolutely free to use. It's absolutely free to use. No need of buying any licenses. It's a free to use. No need of buying any licenses. First one, absolutely free to use. No need of buying any licenses. Absolutely free to use. No need of buying any licenses. Second one, it's open source. What is the meaning of open source? Whatever source code developed to develop a Tomcat server, that source code is open. If you wanted, you can download source code of Tomcat server development. You can do modifications or you can do any enhancements. Source code itself open. Whatever source code developed to develop a Tomcat server, same source code is available for the download. You can download and you can modify any of the existing features or you can enhance any of the new features. It's absolutely free to use and open source. It is completely developed in Java. Please observe. Tomcat server completely developed in Java. Fully developed in Java. Java developers can understand Tomcat server code. You can go through the Java files whichever developed for Tomcat server. You can try to enhance or you can try to modify any of the Tomcat feature. It's very stable server. It's very stable, very robust, even very bigger applications also we can run inside a Tomcat server. Even though it is a free to use, it's very robust, very stable, Almost all mid-range clients and something like a startup clients using Tomcat server only for their applications. Very stable. Even in the bigger companies also, web applications purpose, Tomcat only using. It's a very stable server. It's very stable. Then it is having a plugin features to any IDE. We can use any IDE All IDEs are supporting Tomcat runtime environment. Whatever IDE is available in the industry, Integrated Development Environment. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Whatever IDE is available in the industry, every IDE supporting Tomcat. Please observe, we will be using Eclipse as an IDE. I'll start the Eclipse maybe after 10 days. Initially, we will see the basic syntaxes of servlets without Eclipse. After 10 days, once you know basic syntaxes of servlets, then only it's advisable to start Eclipse. In throughout our course, I will be using only Eclipse as the IDE, but lot more IDEs are available in the industry. Once you know one IDE, then knowing other IDEs are not difficult. Latest version of Tomcat is 9. Latest version of Tomcat is a 9. But we will be using Tomcat 8.0, not the 9.0. For the Tomcat 9.0, for some of the Eclipse releases, doesn't have a support. That is why I will be using Tomcat 8.0, which is like a previous to the latest version. In the industry also, everywhere using Tomcat 8.0, nowhere using Tomcat 9.0 for full-fledged development. Some of the Eclipse releases not having 9.0 support. Let's go for Tomcat 8.0 only. This is all about a few points related to the Tomcat. Now let us see Tomcat server downloading, installation, and configuration. So three things we have to see. First, downloading. Installation. Later we go for configuration. So download, open a browser. I'm opening a new window. Let me share the same to you. In the new browser, go for tomcat.apache.org. Tomcat.apache.org. The website URL is tomcat.apache.org. After going to this location, you can see all various versions of Tomcat. On the left side you can see all different versions of the Tomcat. Let us select Tomcat 8 for downloading. You can observe in the right frame, come little down. Under binary distribution, you can see Windows Service Installer. Under binary distribution, Windows Service Installer. Under binary distribution, you can see Windows Service Installer. This is the link which you have to click. So click on this link. Once you click on this link, downloading will be started. It is not asking even sign up also. We don't require to sign up or sign in. Straight away you can download. It's very simple file. The size is just 9.3 MB. Go to the location where Tomcat installer downloaded. Go to show in folder. Downloading is got over. Let me share the downloads folder. In the downloads folder, you can see Apache Tomcat 8.5.15. Let me copy this downloaded executable file from the downloads folder to the backup drive. In my system, I'm choosing backup drive as a F drive. Inside F drive, I already created one folder called online-sw. In the backup drive, I created one folder online-sw. Inside this folder, let me place downloaded Tomcat installer. Downloaded Tomcat installer. So complete downloading is got over. Complete downloading is got over. So we got one executable file. One executable file. We copied the same to the backup drive. Now we are ready to install. Now we are ready to install. Let us move to the installation step. Installation is very simple, but some of the default settings required to modify. While installing Tomcat server, you have to modify some of the default settings. Let's double click on this Tomcat. We will be getting different screens. WizIQ platform not able to show the pop-up windows like a wizards. If you are using GoToMeeting, you can see all these pop-up windows. If you are not seeing pop-up windows, just like a note down, the first one is click on run. So double click on the exe file. Double click on exe file. In case of installation, in the first window, you have to choose run. In the first window, choose the run. Click on run. This is the second window or second wizard. You have to choose next. Choose the next. So you are getting third wizard. In the third wizard, you have to go for I agree. In the third wizard, you have to go for I agree. Click on I agree. Then in the fourth wizard, choose components. Don't modify any default. Let it normal only. Under select the type of install. Let it normal. Don't modify from the normal. So in this wizard, you don't require to do any modification. Simply click on next. Simply click on next. I'm clicking on next. Yeah. In this wizard, we are getting a title as a configuration. Tomcat basic configuration. This is very important. You are finding a lot of port numbers. These are the port numbers 8005, 800, 8009. The second port number HTTP connector port number 8080 required to modify. Under configuration wizard, HTTP/1.1 connector port 1.1 connector port, try to modify from 8080 to any other number. The reason is Oracle browser based client also choosing the same 8080 port number. Please remember here, Oracle browser based client also choosing 8080. That is why Tomcat you can modify from 8080 to any other number. HTTP connector port number you have to modify. HTTP/1.1 connector port should be modified. HTTP connector port number modify to any other number rather than 8080. HTTP connector port modify from 8080 to any other 4 digits number. So better go for 7070. This port number is not occupying by any other default softwares. 8080 blindly it is taking 8080 without asking us. In case of Oracle is taking 8080 straight away. In case of Tomcat it is asking, shall I use 8080? In case of Tomcat it is asking, shall I use 8080? But in case of Oracle, it is not asking you, it is blindly taking 8080. That is why you can reserve 8080 port number for the Oracle. For Tomcat, you can modify to any other number, any other better 4 digits number. And that to 7070, not occupying by any default softwares, whichever we are installing for our development purpose. Everybody try to modify HTTP connector port from 8080 to 7070. Only this change here, no need of changing anything. It is even asking username and password. We don't require to worry username and password. We will not be administrators of Tomcat server. We will be just users. We don't require to bother about username and password, even roles. Leave as it is, all default things. Only HTTP connector port. We will be using 7070 for every request. That is why you have to modify. HTTP connector port, we will be using every connection. For every request, we will be using 7070. For every request, we will be using 7070. That is HTTP connector port. If at all you are not changing, assume Tomcat also taking HTTP connector port as a 8080, Oracle also taking 8080. If this is the case, you cannot run or you cannot start Tomcat server, Oracle server simultaneously. You have to start only one between these two. So while developing web applications, definitely we have to interact with the database. Assume you are using database as a Oracle. So it should run. So Tomcat server, Oracle server should run simultaneously. So for that purpose, try to modify HTTP connector port from 8080 to 7070. So after modifying only port number, don't do any modifications, go to the next. This is very important, Java Virtual Machine. While installing JDK, if you are not installing public JRE, then Tomcat server cannot identify Java runtime environment in your system. Please observe, while installing JDK, if you are not installing public JRE, then Tomcat installer cannot identify where Java runtime environment available in your system. While installing JDK, we are not installing public JRE. We didn't install public JRE. Because of we didn't install public JRE, Tomcat server unable to identify where Java runtime environment available in our system. Now we have to choose explicitly one Java runtime environment that can be JDK 5.0 version or 6.0 or 7.0 or 8.0. Now you have an option. If at all public JRE installed, then you will not be having an option Tomcat installer taking blindly available public JRE. Please observe, this point is very important. If customer asking you to develop web applications by using JDK 5.0, the latest version of JDK is a 8.0. If at all you installed JDK 8.0 with the public JRE, then Tomcat installer blindly it is taking JDK 8.0 runtime environment. If at all you are not installing public JRE, then Tomcat installer unable to identify where JDK, that is Java runtime environment available in your system. Now you have an option. You can select, you can choose any type of JDK, any version of the JDK. This is very important. Click on browse. There is a browse button under Java Virtual Machine. Click on browse. Select only JDK home directory. JDK installation home directory. Wherever JDK got installed, home directory. This is the JDK home directory. Under Java virtual machine, you have to click browse. By using browse, you have to choose JDK home directory. JDK home directory. Under Java virtual machine, wherever JDK got installed in your system. In my system, JDK installed. In my system, JDK installed inside a D drive in a folder called JDK8.o. You had to choose explicitly through browse button. Only this much. Now, then you can go to the next. This is the last wizard, last window, last pop-up window. Choose install location, destination folder. Most of the beginners are not worrying about destination folder. Whenever you are installing any software for the development purpose, then don't install in the operating system drive. Even while installing JDK also, I have told very clearly, don't install JDK inside an operating system drive. JDK is for development purpose, Tomcat also for development purpose, Oracle also for development purpose. Whichever software you are installing for the development purpose, that software should not advisable to install inside a operating system drive. Try to modify destination folder. By default, for every software, destination folder will be operating system drive. You need to modify explicitly. Most of the people are not considering this point. Please try to consider this point. Don't try to install in the C program files. Click on browse. Choose install location. Click on browse. Let me select a D drive. Inside a D drive, choose the folder with the name as Tomcat 8.0. Don't give a space in the middle of Tomcat and 8.0. This also I have observed from several beginners. Tomcat space should not be. Don't give the space. I told in the JDK installation also. Java and J2E developer, while choosing a folder or while creating a folder, that folder should not have a spaces. Space is a very discouraged inside a folder name. So beginners are not worrying this one. So don't give the space inside a folder. So d:/Tomcat 8.o. Tomcat 8.o. After changing to this, click on install. Installation will be started. Installation started. The complete installation is got over. This is the last window where you can see the finish. Run Apache Tomcat and show README. There are two checkboxes. Try to uncheck both the checkboxes. Run Apache Tomcat and show README. Both you have to uncheck. So no need of running now itself. No need of reading any help document. Uncheck, run and show. So click finish. Click on finish. Unchecked both check boxes, click finish. This complete installation is got over. This is the complete installation process. Very simple. But the beginners are not focusing on some of the very essential steps. That is why wizard by wizard I clearly explained. Most of the beginners, they are not worrying about changing any of the options if at all next button is enabled. They are not even going through what is displayed in this wizard if at all next button is enabled. So that is why please go through the complete wizard before going to the next window. Before going to the next window. So please observe the complete installation is got over. Now let me share one window where I have just mentioned all the steps of the installation. So please observe, double clicking on downloaded exe file, click on run, then go next, then I agree, then go next. Modify HTTP connector port. HTTP connector port you have to modify from 8080 to 7070. Choose the Java virtual machine as a JDK installer. The home directory of the JDK. Now Tomcat installer can identify where JVM is available inside that location. Then destination folder. This is the destination. Uncheck, run and show. Checkbox is finished. This is all about installation. Let's see the location where it's got installed. So this is the F drive. Go to the D drive. Inside a D drive, JDK we have installed, Tomcat we are installing. In down the line, Oracle I am installing here only, Eclipse also here only. Every development software I'm installing. Every development software I'm installing inside a D drive. This is the Tomcat 8.2. Please ensure no space here. So we didn't give any space in this folder. Go inside. Several folders available here. Several folders. Among all, very important folder is a lib. Lib stands for library. All the libraries available. In Java, library is nothing but a jar file. In Java, Library is nothing but jar file. Go inside a lib folder. You can see several jar files. Among all, among all the available jar files, two jar files are very important. Servlet-api.jar, JSP-api.jar. These are the jar files which are containing complete Servlet API and JSP API. These two jar files developed by Sun Microsystem and supplied these two to the web server developers. Tomcat people, Tomcat developers, they copied these two jar files from the Sun Microsystem and they are distributing to us through Tomcat installer. So now we required only Servlet API. We don't require a JSP API. Only Servlet API. In order to develop, in order to develop any servlet, in order to develop any servlet, we required a servlet API. We required a servlet API. If you want to compile any servlet, if you want to compile any servlet, compiler should know location of servlet-api.jar. So please observe, servlet-api.jar, it's not a part of JDK installation. We are getting separately. Javac command doesn't know where servlet-api.jar is available. You have to update location of servlet-api.jar to the Javac command. We have to compile every servlet. For compilation purpose, we are using Javac command. Javac command doesn't know where servlet-api.jar is available. Servlet-api.jar, it's not a part of core Java installation. Javac command, it's a part of the core Java installation. Servlet-api.jar, it is not available in the JDK. Javac command not knowing where servlet-api.jar is available. Where servlet-api.jar is available. You have to specify location of servlet-api.jar to the Javac command. That can be done by using a class path. While installing JDK, we have seen path environment variable. Similar to path environment variable, there is a class path environment variable. By using the class path environment variable, we can specify third-party classes locations to the Javac command, even to the Java command also. But here we are not using Java command to run the servlet. We are using Javac command to compile the servlet. To run the servlet, we are using a server. To compile, we have to use Javac command. Javac command should know where servlet-api.jar is available. For that purpose, we need to update class path. So what I can do is select the address bar of the Windows Explorer. Afterwards, backslash. Okay. In the VJQ, it is not showing the drop down menu. You can see. I'm just typing is. Now you can go for a down arrow. This is the exact path of servlet-api.jar. Exact path of servlet-api.jar. API.chat. This should be updated in the class path. This should be updated in the class path. Don't type it. Try to copy like this. Now I will be selecting complete address bar content. Control C. This should be updated inside a class path. While covering path, I showed three different ways. In case of class path, four different ways are available. In case of class path, four different ways are available. Updating class path can be done four different ways. Today I'll show only one way. So tomorrow I'll show other ways. Under configuration, we need to update the class path. Class path is equal to whatever you copied. Class path is equal to whatever you have copied from the address bar. Class path is equal to d:/tomcat 8.0/lib/servlet-api.char semicolon dot. The importance of semicolon dot you will be knowing later. Whenever you are updating a class path, dot should be one of the entry in the class path. Dot represents a current directory. While updating a class path, current directory is missing. You have to specify current directory explicitly whenever you update a class path. I repeat, dot represents a current directory. While updating a class path, only class path will be visible to the commands. Current directory will not be available. If you want to use the current directory also, then you have to specify dot explicitly. Please observe, while updating a class path, current directory, you have to specify explicitly, otherwise current directory will not be available to any of the commands. Still you will be knowing more about this in down the line. Now update the class path like this. I'll show only one way of the updating a class path. Open a command prompt. I opened a command prompt. Let us see. By default, command prompt able to recognize any of the class without updating a class path from the Servlet API. Just to trigger this command, java-p space javax.servlet.servlet. First servlet s in the lowercase, second servlet s in the uppercase. I just wanted to check whether java-p command able to identify location of javax.servlet.servlet by default. Java P stands for Java parsing. If it is able to identify javax.servlet.servlet, it can able to parse only for checking purpose. So we got the message like a class couldn't found, could not found. Now Java P command unable to identify the location of javax.servlet.servlet. If Java P command unable to identify, even Java C command also cannot identify. Java C command also cannot identify. Now you can set the class path. Very similar to path. Whatever you copied from the address bar, set class path is equal to by using set command. This is one way. If you set a class path like this, if you are setting a class path like this, then this class path will be available only for the current command prompt, not for other command prompts. Only for the current command prompt. Now you can trigger Java P command. You can see the difference between earlier and now. Now Java P command able to identify where javax.servlet.servlet is available. It's able to parse Java P command parsing a class file and showing only members of that class file. Whatever members are there inside that class file. This class file is available inside a jar file. Whatever jar file we updated in the class path. Please observe, whatever I selected, it is one class file. This class file is available in the servlet-api.jar. Now Java P command going inside a servlet-api.jar and identifying javax.servlet.servlet and parsing, providing only members. Please observe, it is providing only members of a class. It is not providing any member definition. You can see here, init method, only method declaration. Service method, only declaration. Destroy method, only declaration, not the body. Java P command, it will be browsing every member from the class file, but not the definition of that member. Not the definition of the member. It's not providing body of the methods. It is providing only declaration of a method. You will be knowing more about all these things later. Once you see this one, then absolutely updation of class path is very proper. So I just showed configuration one way, that is for one command prompt, not for every command prompt. Only for one command prompt it will be available. It will not be available to all other command prompts. Now let me stop the command prompt. Open edit place. After configuration, I just showed only one way. Still other ways are there that I'll show you in the next class. How to start and stop Tomcat server. Starting and stopping Tomcat server. Just installation. While installing Tomcat server, it is not starting. Whereas Oracle, while installing itself, Oracle server is starting. In case of Tomcat server, it is not starting while installing. You have to start explicitly. How to start explicitly? So in the VijIQ, I cannot show the procedure. If you are using GoToMeeting, you can see. Go to the Start All Programs. Start All Programs. You can see Apache Tomcat. Start All Programs, Apache Tomcat. Select Configure Tomcat. Select Configure Tomcat. While clicking on Configure Tomcat, instead of Configure Tomcat, go for Monitor Tomcat. That will be more convenient. Go to Start All Programs, Apache, Monitor Tomcat. Not the Configure Tomcat, Monitor Tomcat. All Programs, Apache Tomcat, Monitor Tomcat. Monitor Tomcat. Whenever you are clicking on Monitor Tomcat, in the right bottom, you can see one Tomcat small icon. In the right bottom, whoever using GoToMeeting, those people can see. In my desktop, in the right bottom, a small icon for the Tomcat. Double click on it. Now you can see start and stop. You can see start and stop. Click on start. Tomcat server will be starting. Click on stop. Tomcat server will be stopped. Start and stop. So please observe, after clicking on Monitor Tomcat, there is a small icon at the right bottom. Right bottom of your desktop. Just to double click. Then go for start or stop. Start is there and even stop also there. Even for stop also same procedure. You can go for stop. Now here I just started the Tomcat server. After starting a Tomcat server, how we can test whether Tomcat server started or not? Just to open a browser, open any browser. I'm opening a new browser. Let me share the same to you. In the new browser address bar, http://localhost 7070. Just to type this much, http://localhost:7070. If you see this message, Tomcat server started successfully. Installation and starting both are very success. This is all about testing. So everybody try to perform all these operations.